Okay, we're drawing the train. We're going to work on part number 5, the wheel. So I'm going to start a new part. I'm going to draw this one. I'm going to draw this little cutout section, and then I'm going to revolve it. So since I'm kind of drawing the top down when I draw my first sketch, I'm going to start on the XZ plane. I'm going to start with a rectangle, and then I'm just going to add from there. So I'm going to pretend this whole thing is just with one big rectangle sitting out here. It's 1 inch from one side to the other, and then it is 0.25 thick. So 0.25 and 1. And so there's my rectangle. I'm going to add that little circle on the end. It is a radius of 0.125, or 0.25 is my diameter. And really, when you put the circle on, you start it in the center, so you get the green dot, and you take it out, it just automatically gets 0.25 because of everything else that is there. Okay, so now we have to put this little rectangle in the middle for this notch, and then we didn't start in the middle, right? We have this hole, so we got to make another little line over a little bit. So we're going to do both those things. First, I'm going to make the rectangle. I'm just going to place it, and then I'm going to do a lot of dimensioning to get it correct. Okay, so the whole thing has to be between 0.25 to where it starts to 0.75 where it ends. Okay, and we could have dimensioned this as we go, but that's okay. So we're going to make this 0.5, and then going up here, okay, we have to go from the bottom here, so it is 0.125 for this side here. All right, and then we have to look, it is 0.25 from the center of the circle, which is where I started, to the first edge. So I'm going to, from the center here to this first edge should be 0.25. Okay, now all those things are rounded off, and they're all 0.0625, and this is typical because that means all 4 of them are going to be the same. So we're going to go to my fillet, and we're going to make this 0.0625, and then we're going to fillet this corner, fillet this corner, fillet this corner, and fillet. Oh, now sometimes it does this, and I'm not sure why, but we'll just say okay here. So we just escape out of that. It loses this line across here. So we're going to add that line back. Not sure why it does that sometimes. It's okay. And then we're going to fillet this last corner. Okay. And so now we have that inner notch. Okay, now remember it didn't start right at the center, so we went in a little bit to get the center. Sorry, bell's ringing. So we got to figure out how far that is into there. Okay. If you go through, it has these measurements. It says down here, actually in the bottom, that that inner circle is 0.0280. So that means that's my diameter, so my radius is 0.14. So I need to put a line from here to there, and then I have to dimension that line half that diameter, so it'd be 0.14. Okay, and now I think I have everything. Now I'm going to trim a few things away. Well, I think it'll work. Let's just try it. It looks like it'll probably work. So we're going to revolve. We want to revolve the circle part. We want to revolve this part. We need that other part of the circle. We don't need this. Remember, that's going to be the hole in the center. But because we started in the center, we have the revolving axis. And boom, instantly you get this fancy looking wheel. Okay, and that looks pretty close. Okay, it's got a lot of other things we got to take out of it, but we're getting pretty darn good, right? That looks good to me. So we got to cut all these holes in the bottom, or out of the thing for these spokes, right? So we're going to flip it around to the back side, and we're going to draw a new sketch on this back side. Now we're going to just draw one of those, and then we're going to do a circular pattern to get the rest. So I'm going to draw the full circle. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go out, and I'm going to do this outside one. So the radius is 0.625. Now remember, I'm doing the diameter, so I'm going to do 2 times 0.625. There's my first one, and then I'm going to make a second circle, and that one, the radius is 0.375. So I'm going to do 2 times 0.375. I'm going to get that one. Okay, those other things that are showing up are just because there's it's kind of like the things behind me, I guess, in the other part of the circle. So don't worry about those. So now I'm going to draw a line. I'm going to start in the center. I'm going to go out to the outer circle, so to the point 625. Okay, and then I want to make it 15 degrees because you see the first one is 15 degrees up. So I'm going to make that 15 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to make a second line. Again, starting from the center. And I'm going to go out to that circle at point 625. And now it's 30 degrees away from the first line. So it's the 15 plus the 30. So we have to go a total of 45. Okay, and now we're all good. But we got all kinds of stuff going on in there, right? So I'm going to trim some of these things out of there. Because I just want this middle spot. So I want to trim all of that away. I'm going to trim all of this away. I'm going to trim these things away. And now you can see I just have that one little thing that I'm going to extrude, that one little hole that I'm going to get out of there. So I'm going to finish my sketch. I'm going to extrude. I'm going to extrude this guy. I'm going to cut him through. And I'm just going to go through all. And I'm going to say OK. All right, now we have one, but we're going to use a pattern. I'm going to go back to that view. Sometimes it helps to look at a kind of a side view or an angled view, like an isometric. I'm going to have to put an axis through the middle of this. So it's through the center of the circle. So right there. So now I have my axis. And now I can do my circular pattern. I want to do this feature. And I want to go around this axis. And I want to go 6 times. And I say, OK, and boom. And there you go. Starting to look a lot like a wheel now. So it's getting really close to what we started with. Okay, but we got to draw this little peg sticking out here. So let's turn it around here so we can see. All right, so we're going to make a new sketch down here on this rim. And new sketch. We're going to draw a circle. We're going to draw the circle here. That circle is going to be this guy here. So his diameter is 0.025. Remember, now it's diameter, so 0.25. Okay, now that's not where I wanted it, but sometimes if you stick it right here, it'll get stuck. So be careful sticking it where it's on another line. So just kind of hang out there in the middle, because you can always dimension from the center out to there. It tells me here it's 0.7. Okay, and then he zips out there. And now you can finish this sketch, and now we can extrude this guy. And again, sometimes it helps if you look at kind of an angled view, you can see better what's going on. And he sticks out there 0.375. Okay, so we got the first part. Now we got to put a little peg on top of that. So I'm going to zoom in. We're going to make a new sketch on here. Okay, in that sketch, we're going to put another circle. This one is the inner one, so his diameter is 0.125. We're going to finish that sketch. We're going to extrude him. We're going to extrude him 0.125. Okay, say OK to that. And now we got to put a hole down in it. Okay, so it just says the diameter. We could drill an actual hole, or we can just do a circle and go down. Okay, I'm just going to do the circle. I don't know, it's a lot easier. And so the diameter of that is 0.0625. 0.0625. Finish that, and then we're going to extrude that one. We're going to cut it, and we're going to go a distance of 0.25. And now we have the hole in my little peg. And now we have my wheel, and it looks like it's completely done and ready to go.